Your mental play a big part in you losing weight because if you don't get your mind right, your belly ain't gonna never get right.
Right.
So you gotta get your mind right to be able to tell yourself no, or that's enough.
Yeah.
So you could eat some of the stuff, but eat in moderation. Take a cheat day. See, my boo told me that I could take a cheat day. You know what I mean? But I was like, what's a cheat day?
Why not keep on the path I'm on?
So no, but you know,
Want a cheat day?
no, I'm saying you don't have to cut it all out, but take a cheat day. You don't have to take a cheat day, but if you do take a cheat day, it's all right. Just make it back up the other 6 days.
Just go harder the next.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, especially for like diabetics. A man said he was dealing with high blood pressure and he was pre-diabetic. I'm actually dealing with diabetes, and one of the things about diabetes is that it requires discipline because it's not sugar. You know, a lot of people would think that diabetes is sugar. As long as I cut out sugar, then I'm fine. But it's not sugar. It's carbohydrates.
Yeah.
And sugar is just one of the different carbohydrates that actually affects your diabetes. And with diabetes, for me, I'll just share my personal experience. When I initially got diagnosed with diabetes, I just figured that, you know, I could make a few changes. I could be my own doctor. Here we go with that substance abuse thing. You know what I mean, Ty? When you being your own physician, you medicate yourself.
Yeah.
Here it is. I'm being my own physician. I'm medicating myself too, but it's for a different diagnosis. It's not substance abuse. I'm diagnosing myself with diabetes. The doctor is telling me what to do. He's telling me I need to go to a nutrition class. He's telling me I need to change my eating habits. He's telling me I need to take my medication and I need to exercise. Those are the 3 most important things: is eating right, taking your medication, and exercising. And usually when you eat right and you exercise, you do it on a consistent basis, you actually eliminate the third one, which is the need for taking medication. And if not completely eliminate the need for medication, at the very least, you reduce it significantly.
Right.
So for me, when I was diagnosed with diabetes, I figured that I could make some changes, do some juicing, look at a few Instagram stories of some people that
clips.
whine about what they did, how they did it, and they did it in 30 days by just eating red cabbage. So what I did was I implemented all that crap as well. And what it did was it almost killed me. I had an incident where it's called ketoacidosis. And that's when you just got too much sugar in your system. And what it does is if you keep on and you don't get it addressed, then eventually all your internal organs begin to shut down on you. So for me, when I felt bad, I just laid around, and the next day I thought I was well. But this goes back to something that my guy Terry said, that he was actually suffering in silence. A lot of times we be having things going on and we don't know about it because we don't go to the doctors, and it doesn't have any visible effects or any visible symptoms. Right. And so we think that we fine. And so for me, when I was diagnosed with diabetes, I would feel a little down, didn't want to eat, and I would just lay around for the day, but the next day I was fine. So one time I had an episode, and the next day I wasn't fine. And then the next day after that I wasn't fine. And then the next day after that I wasn't fine. So we was at day 4. And my lady was saying, like, listen, I know normally you just lay around and rest and you good, but we going into day 4. And she was like, baby, you don't look good. Me, another issue with men and health is that we don't want to go to the doctor. We don't want to go to the hospital. Because for us, in our mental, this goes back to something that my man Cino said about our mental, that we be thinking that it's weak. Like, ain't that crazy thinking that we think it's weak that we go to the doctors when we don't feel well?
Yeah.
So I laid there 4 days and she told me, she's like, you don't look well. And I was being a man, I'm thinking I'm standing 10 toes down, I'm telling her I'm all right. So she called the person that she knew how to get me up, which is my baby sister. So she came over, she took a look at me, and she was like, oh, hell no, you got to get up out of here now. So one of the good things about Kaiser Permanente is that everything is connected. So I have Kaiser, and they're connected with St. Agnes. I went to Kaiser Urgent Care.
You give them too much free advertising.
They couldn't even get a reading. they couldn't even get a reading on my sugar level. So they sent me to St. Agnes. I get to St. Agnes. The doctor looked at me. He couldn't get a reading. So the doctor, as he's doing his doctor thing, how long you been dealing with this particular episode? What are your symptoms? And as I'm describing everything to him, he says to me, he was like, man, if you ain't come in today, if you laid there one more day, you would have either been a vegetable or dead. He was like, I'm surprised that you lasted this long with a sugar level as high as it's been.
Wow.
And I joked with him. That's what I do. Everybody say I joke a lot. He was like, I don't know what kind of genes you got, you young man, but they real resilient. And the first thing I shot back to him was the MHP. And he was a foreign doctor from Pakistan. And he looked at me kind of crazy. He was like, man, I've been through 8 years of medical school and I've been a resident for another 4 years in this hospital. He was like, what kind of gene is MHP? And I had to let him know it's Murphy Holmes Projects.
And he said what's appropriate, what's not
Yeah,
appropriate.
1058, you know, you graduate. So anyway, as I'm going through my episode, I'm in the hospital, St. Agnes Hospital. I had to, all my organs, internal organs had began to shut down. And in fact, I actually damaged my kidneys. And that's when I began to take diabetes seriously. And that's when I began to take my medication, exercise, and eat right. I try my best at eating right, but we're not perfect. And like my man Clark Sino said, you know, we gotta have a cheat day. And because we're not perfect, the Bible says that we were born in sin and shaped in iniquity. So we're not perfect. So eat anything that we doing, we striving for perfection, but we're doing the best. We're giving it 100. As long as we give it 100%, that's the best that we could do. So tell us about some of the food choices that you changed, Terry, with being newly diagnosed with this